what if we told you coffee was good for you?
Coffee is the single highest source of antioxidants in the Western diet. More antioxidants than kale, more antioxidants than 70% dark chocolate, and more antioxidants than blueberries.
In fact, what if we told you that coffee is really good for you?
Research shows that 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day dramatically enhances performance in high-intensity exercise, improves memory, reaction times, and overall cognitive function, decreases risk of depression, promotes weight loss by boosting metabolic rates, reduces risk of type 2 diabetes up to 40%, decreases risk of liver cancer up to 71%, reduces risk of Parkinson's up to 30%, and decreases risk of Alzheimer's up to 65%. Overall, coffee drinkers live longer. People who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day have about a 15% lower risk of premature mortality compared to people who don't drink coffee.
And what if we told you that the health benefits of coffee could actually be increased through conscious roasting, sourcing, and processing? Introducing Purity, a health-conscious coffee company. At Purity, we've brought together a world-class team to analyze every step in the production chain from cherry to cup. We make decisions with only one thing in mind: how can we make the healthiest coffee in the world? Here's our 3-step process. Step 1, we search the world for the highest quality organic green beans that meet our exacting standards. Way less than 1% of coffee worldwide fit our sourcing criteria. Step 2, we test, and test again to create a specific roasting protocol for each harvest that maximizes healthy compounds and minimizes toxins. Step 3, we nitrogen pack our coffee within 48 hours of roasting and deliver to your door every 2 weeks to ensure maximum freshness. The result is the ultimate coffee drinking experience. You'll not only taste the difference in our clean, healthy coffee, with Purity, you'll feel the difference.
Our coffee club members report a bright, alert lift with less jitters than regular coffee and much more gentle on the stomach.
Sign up for Purity today, and you'll never have to worry about your source for healthy coffee again.
Hey, you're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your co-host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, along with rock star co-host,
Dr. Chris
Demczar.
Happy Saturday, everybody.
Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. We're continuing this conversation on our series called Endless Energy. And I'd like to say that you could also call this the invisible disease.
Yes.
We just recently put an article out on our website, askdrernst.com, about how the invisible disease today is chronic fatigue. You can't see it. You can't smell it. Nobody else would look at you sometimes and be like, oh my God, you look chronically fatigued. But you are the one saying, I'm chronically fatigued. And we also call it the invisible disease because guess who misses it like crazy?
Yeah, you're talking about the medical profession.
Oh my gosh, right? So there are no prescription drugs labeled for chronic disease. There are no major diagnostic criteria for chronic fatigue.
Yep.
But what they do though is they'll say, well, maybe you need a sleep aid.
That's right.
Maybe you need an antidepressant. Maybe you need a muscle relaxer. Maybe you need something to just help you, rest. But yet what they're doing is they're treating symptoms. So chronic fatigue is huge. Would you not agree? We talked about this last week. There's even like diagnosis codes for the causes.
Exactly. Yep.
And so we have to talk about this. So I know you're about to say something, but I'll shut up in a second. If you're tired, if you're fatigued, if you're that person who says, I sleep and I'm still tired, I exercise, I'm still tired, coffee, energy drinks, you name it, nothing's working. But here's the thing, Dr. Ernst, but I'm always so wired at night. I'm tired, but wired. I'm tired, but wired. That's what we're talking about today. Guys, that's called chronic adrenal fatigue or adrenal burnout. There's our show topic. Go with what you were going to say.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, so it's really interesting that it's taken so long for I'll say the medical community to really come up with the diagnosis codes and kind of the identity around this whole energy fatigue crisis that's really going on in America, right?
Absolutely.
And it's just interesting because there's so many different subset of symptoms. So if you want to label it as a syndrome where there's 3 or more similar symptoms, it's really hard to do because there's so many different possible mechanisms that can then relate to the fact that, hey, there's this one root cause that's showing all these things. It's really just this chronic fatigue syndrome. So like Dr. Ernst was saying, it could be something related to muscle spasms. It could be something related to whether you're feeling sick or not. It could be something related to sleep issues.
Hormones.
It could be something related to hormones. It could be something related
Adrenal gland.
to other metabolic functions. So it all comes back to we have all these different, right? And so you're going into the root causes, and I'm mentioning all the different symptoms that you could have. And so that's why it's taken so long, because one doctor may say, hey, well, let's tackle this problem. Well, let's tackle this problem over here. But they're really missing the main root cause, which is just finally the mainstream, I'll say, health network is finally starting to really grasp. And here we're saying, hey, there's only one root cause. Let's find it and try to fix it right now.
Yep.
Before it gets any worse.
And think of it this way, Dr. Chris, help him out with this. How many different diseases have fatigue as a symptom?
Exactly. Yes.
Hundreds.
I think.
So,
and what did we say last week? I might butcher it because we don't have the numbers directly in front of us. But last weekend we were talking about how it's like 30-something% of every single condition that's diagnosed out there has fatigue.
That's what I meant.
One of the
That's
symptoms,
what I meant.
Right?
So like, diabetes, fatigue, heart disease, fatigue, thyroid, fatigue, leaky gut, fatigue, hormone disturbances, low T, fatigue, estrogen imbalance, fatigue.
Yep.
So guys, fatigue is not the problem, it's the symptom. And we're talking today about a subset of this chronic fatigue called adrenal fatigue. So why don't you do this as a favor? Tell them the things that classically show up in their bodies when it's the adrenal issue. Last week it was mitochondrial issues. So what if you get those mitochondria tests and they go, oh, they're fine, everything's normal? Are you just, in the ditches is finding out the problems of your energy issues? No, you might have adrenal fatigue. So list these for them, and then let's go deep into like, what is this thing called adrenal fatigue and how do you fix it?
Exactly.
The right way.
Okay, so symptoms, guys, right? This isn't root cause. These are just the overlying symptoms that you may be experiencing right now. So the first one, this is the biggest thing I would say, is the inability to remember things, right? Something that even is not even on our conscience half the time. We don't even realize that we're not remembering things, or we're not something at the forefront of our mind.
And this is beyond just where did I put my keys?
Yes.
What was that guy's name that I met 2 weeks ago? It's literally like, do you remember what I just said to you 5 minutes ago?
Yeah. Or you open the fridge door to get,
what was I going
a piece
in
of
there
meat,
for?
and you're just standing at the fridge door going, I don't know why I'm here right now.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Brain fog.
Yes, major brain fog, which we can talk about that because that's even got its own connotations about, when you wake up. And
this is a big one. This is a big one. We got to talk about this.
Here we go. Pain in the upper back or neck with no clear reason, which is hilarious and I think very funny to us because we see that and we go, whoa, absolutely not. We know there's a reason, right? That neurological subluxation, if you guys have been listening to us for a while, you know about that neurological subluxation. Is the inability for the spinal cord that is being protected by those spinal bones to successfully transmit messages from your brain to your body and from your body back to your brain.
Look at this. Hold on. We have people texting in saying, are we giving away our energy book from last week? Yes. We forgot to make that announcement.
That's right.
So we have a new ebook that we just polished off, Energy Heal Thyself. Everything he's talking about, the symptoms, the diagnoses, the procedures, the correction. So grab this, guys. It's 100% free, 704-906-2094. And please, when you text, name and email. Not just ebook, not just energy book, not just Eve book, please. Name and email, and my team will get you connected. We also have an event. It's on the 13th of August, and that is a special live event we're hosting on fixing adrenal fatigue, mitochondrial fatigue, chronic fatigue. We want you literally so full that your battery meter, if you had one, said 150.
That's right.
Okay, so
Overcharged.
704-906-2094. Go ahead, they're texting in, but see, some of them already know our call numbers.
That's
so
right.
where is the ebook? So there it is. And let's talk. I want to like briefly go into this because what does the average person walk into us complaining, or how are they posturing when they have this classic adrenal fatigue, neck, upper back?
Yeah. So it's because of a number of different reasons, but patients are coming into our office and they've got this forward head posture and the muscles in the back of their neck are trying to support and pull their head back. They can't. So those muscles are now going into spasm and they're being overtaxed and overworked. And that's just driving this fatigue process even further, because we know that there's also this neurological component, right? Where the communication of the signals going through the spinal cord is not as efficient as it should. That's going to drive its own fatigue network, because believe it or not, guys, the central nervous system fatigue, and there's a whole school in Harvard. There's this whole school, the Harvard Fatigue Lab, where they look at like energy expenditure, and it's through the central nervous system.
Yeah.
It's this amazing thing, and they basically outline these 8 different steps. I know I'm going down a rabbit hole really quick, but these 8 different steps of the main functions of the central nervous system from more of a medical perspective, but the functionality, if you were to break down each of those, all relate back to, well, this is why somebody's coming in with upper neck and upper back pain, because of the fatigue issues that are going on within the central nervous system.
And it's because so like if you guys are like, oh, my neck, like I need a good massage, that's the sympathetic chain. It's the main suppliers of that fight or flight. And listen, adrenal glands, you're going to learn, are fight or flight hormonal.
Right.
Well, the spine is fight or flight physical.
Yes.
So no wonder these people have pain in their up and back. And when it says no reason, here's what that means. I didn't hurt myself. I didn't slip and fall. I don't have a disc issue. I don't have arthritis, but my neck hurts. My upper back hurts. Guys, adrenal fatigue. What else?
Okay,
what are some of the other
just random weight
issues?
Loss or weight gain? Oop.
We've got something flying around in here.
So,
if you see us going like this, there's a bug in the Ask Dr. Ernst studio. Go ahead.
So random weight loss or weight gain for, again, no explained reason. Well, we already know that the adrenal glands secrete very specific hormones that are going to stimulate, like Dr. Ernst said, that fight or flight response. So there's your reason right there. But again, you don't realize it on the surface. You just have this random weight loss or weight gain for no reason.
And you're going to learn this too on the webinar. So like you guys, you've got to get on this energy webinar. Thyroid hormones are your primary energy hormones. And when you shift towards a reverse T3 dominance, man, you gain weight like crazy. And you're fatigued like you can't imagine, okay? So big one.
Yep. Okay, and then we can get into some of the metabolic things. So issues digesting food, right? There's a big fancy word called dyspepsia, which really just means an inability to regulate the enzymes that are inside your stomach lining, helping to break down food.
But hold up, though. Don't the foods I eat make me energized?
Well, they're supposed to, but if there's already this dysregulation of the enzymes that are there, then of course they can't, because now we've got food sitting and that backs up, and you can see there's this big backup process that occurs, which just leads to more and more fatigue and more issues, right? It's this giant accumulation effect, right?
Yes.
Okay, so sticking with that, so that's on the front end of digestion. On the back end of digestion, you've got to be able to eliminate a lot of the toxins and the waste products and the things that our body doesn't absorb. So if you have alternating bouts of constipation or diarrhea, and you're like, well, I haven't changed anything that I'm eating. I haven't changed my activity levels. I'm staying well hydrated. What the heck? Well, probably is a dysregulation of that chronic adrenal fatigue that's going on. Dry and thin skin, nails. So those would be some of the typical things you might think of if you've been listening to a lot of our thyroid series.
Exactly.
Webinars and radio shows, but it could happen too with adrenal fatigue. Again, it's the hormonal component, the changes in hormones.
Now this is big, because this is a at-home diagnosis of the strength of your adrenal glands. Tell them what the symptom is, and then walk them through how they can do this at-home test to stress test their adrenals and see how healthy they are.
Yeah, so the symptom is that you get lightheaded when you go from a laying down to a standing up position. So this is really simple to be able to do, guys, and it's really easy to be able to stress too. You can change the stress that you're applying to yourself, so you can figure out, well, am I making it better or worse? And so you can start just in a laying position on the ground or on your bed, whatever's comfortable, and then you can just sit straight up. It's as simple as that. And just hang out there for 5 seconds. Don't turn one way or the other. You're just sitting straight ahead, and you're just trying to determine and wait to see if you notice any lightheadedness or dizziness or vertigo symptoms, if you will.
Yeah, we're not talking about that little thin like blackout you get. That's something different.
Right.
We're talking about like where you're like, whoa,
the room is spinning.
Like I need a second.
I'm spinning.
Okay. Here's the reason. There's a specific hormone that is secreted from the adrenal gland to help regulate your blood pressure. And if your adrenal glands are stressed out, if you have adrenal fatigue, you don't secrete that hormone quick enough. So you come up, but your pressure didn't rise. Yeah. So you get this subtle drop in fluid, blood, etc. to the brain, and your brain goes, and then the hormone comes out because it's slow. Yep. Right? So think of it like an adrenal fatigue person is someone whose batteries are about to run out. Like if I have an electronically controlled RC car and the batteries are dying, I'm going to pedal to the metal, the throttle, and it's like, okay, that's adrenal fatigue. So when this hormone doesn't come out fast enough, your blood pressure doesn't rise to compensate for the new position, and you go, oh, for like, it's like a second or two. That's a classic at-home test you can find out if you're in an adrenal fatigue state. And we have more specifics. We're going to go into the labs. How do you know which one is which? Yeah. But here we go.
Yes, and so then two more. Unexplained hair loss would be similar to the
thyroid.
Right, for thyroid, just like the dry skin and nails. But then this one's huge because this is what a lot of you are going to your medical doctor for.
Correct.
And you're looking to say, well, just give me an antibiotic or just give me a steroid or something just to make myself feel better, even though you don't actually have a virus or bacteria that's invading your body anyways. You've got chronic adrenal fatigue, and that is you're having a high frequency or high prevalence of coming down with symptoms that you might look at and say on the surface, oh, well, that's the flu or I've got a cold. You really don't, especially if it's happening more and more often. This goes really quick. This goes back to, this is really personal to me. This is my chiropractic story of I used to get hospitalized because I would be in such a high state of adrenal fatigue that I would just come down with like what seemed like a massive flu or a massive sickness.
Like due to burnout, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, straight burnout, and it wouldn't go away. 2 weeks later, it's just getting worse and worse and worse, and I've taken an antibiotic, didn't do anything. Next thing I know, I end up in the hospital, and they put me on some medication, and I kind of forget about the world for a little bit, and I'd stay overnight or whatnot, and then I'd be released the next day, and okay, now next thing you know, things are magically better. Yeah. Right? But then, a couple months later, burnout happens again, the same symptoms came back. Was I actually sick from a bacterial virus? No, never. What was super important is that and once I got under chiropractic care, this all stopped. It's never come back again.
Yeah, but what was it that was causing that? Like, how does this fatigue adrenally make you get sick when you burn out?
High secretion of it's the cortisol hormone. Yep. Right. So cortisol is already being over-secreted in my body. So I'm already in this high sympathetic state. I can't go anymore. Eventually, I've got to come down. I've got to have that crash. That's what the symptoms are.
And high cortisol weakens your immunity. Yep. It creates a sense of lack of energy. And so this is classic for those type A go-getters who can work for in 160 hours a week for 5 weeks in a row, and then they crash. Right. Now, that is normal to a degree, but I want you to understand something. There are 4 different stages to this burnout. I'm going to show this real quick. You guys can download this if you want. It should be in our chats. It'll be on our website. It is certainly in the ebook. How do we get the ebook with all these infographics, okay? There's the ebook, 704-906-2094, and you can text your name and email. But listen to this. There's just that classic, I'm just tired, okay? Right here. This guy, he's like, I'm tired. And the thing is with him, he's got his cortisol's a little off balance, neurotransmitters a little low, and this is something that's kind of like, it's a situation, and it's a critical issue, but it's situational. I'm good and I'm not. I'm good, I'm not. Then you got like what I call stage 2. They're the wired but tired people. Here's what I mean by that. 2 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, though, in the afternoon, but 2 to 4 a.m. Okay, now, here's the thing with them. They have low cortisol, but real high neurotransmitters. They're inflamed often. They're in pain. They complain a lot. And they're like, man, if I could just sleep, everything would get fixed. Okay, that's stage 2. Listen to this. Stage 3 is when it gets worse. You're wired and tired, but at the opposite times. So these are the people that fall asleep at like 7 in the at night, and they sleep straight through the day, but they're like on fire in the middle part of the day, and they have high cortisol, low neurotransmitters, and this is when you start to get like chronic infections, right? You food sensitivities. I used to be able to eat this, and now I can't. I get a headache every time I have a salad. Like all this weird stuff starts showing up, and then it's when it's going to get crazy now. Now they're like, we call them wired for sounds. They're like bouncing all over the place. If you guys ever have a small child, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and you see them go through the stages of fatigue, it's like a volcano about to erupt. Yeah, they're running all around. They're kicking the dog. They're climbing all over the fences. They look like they have a ton of energy, and then what happens?
crash.
So we call this the supernova diva that's about to burn out. This is that high cortisol, high neurotransmitters. They look like they're super jacked up on drugs and like very energetic. And then what happens?
They crash.
They crash, and that crash can be days, weeks, months. So there's 4 different phases of this adrenal burnout. And what we're going to do in a moment is talk to you about how do you identify this, not just an at-home test, but what are the labs you need to get? What are the tests that need to be done? But more importantly, how do you get out of this? So I'm talking like this is super stabilized energy when you need it, okay? 2 to 4 o'clock, like, man, let's go. But at 9, 10 o'clock, hey, let's rest. And we're sleeping through the night. We're not interrupted. We're not tossing and turning. We're not in pain. We're not having problems. And what it is we have the ability to regulate our energy. When your adrenals are working, you're full of energy in the right kind. When your mitochondria are working, you're full of energy. When your nerve system is free and clear, you're full of energy. So we're going to come back in a bit from a break and go through step by step how to fix this. But I want to take the next 4 or 5 minutes and do 2 things. I want to walk through the stages at a lab level. What are the findings when we do blood tests and hormone tests? And I want to give another opportunity for you guys to grab this ebook, okay? Everything we talk about is in this ebook. And you get free access to the webinar that we're hosting. Gosh, it's coming right up, right? 13th of August.
That's right.
Right around the corner.
Can't wait for it.
And we're half sold out. Like we've got over 250 people already registered for this. So, you know, the fear of missing out is, I think, greater than the fear of anything. So let's get you registered. It's free. Okay. Well, oh my gosh, I can't go Saturday. It's too busy. Register anyway. You'll get the replay and download the ebook. 704-906-2094. Okay. 4 stages. I talked about neurotransmitters, but walk us through these. Guys, you've got to get these things tested. It's cortisol and DHEA because they go in different phases. So walk us through this. Stage 1 would be what?
And I just want to, break down what you're saying by phases because I think the listeners need to know what phases mean. I think, Dr. Ernst, what you're referencing is that it goes through different cycles within a 24-hour period.
That's correct.
So your cortisol levels, do they just stay the same throughout the day but then spike when you need them and whatnot? No, your cortisol is constantly doing something different based on the 24-hour circadian rhythm that we live our lives by. DHEA is doing the same exact thing. And so knowing what those 2 levels are doing and are they staying within their normal fluctuations or not is going to be key and critical to understand where you're at in your adrenal fatigue, right? So it's not just go in, get a blood test, and then look at the numbers. And
no,
say,
it has to be a 24-hour assessment. It's usually done by something called a Dutch exam.
Exactly. Or
this like, I don't know, it's an acronym for something. I'm blanking on it right now. But the idea is you're dipping these strips in your urine multiple times throughout the day. And in a 24-hour window, we get a map. Now, here's the key. This is the guide, right? I'm in stage 1, early alarm phase, if what?
Yeah. If you have elevated cortisol and elevated DHEA. Now, here's the kicker, right? Get this. Most of you guys listening, if this is the case, do you think you're feeling anything different?
No.
Not at all.
Completely asymptomatic.
No symptoms, even though both of those are elevated, cortisol and DHEA.
So watch out. I could be like, I have perfect energy. I feel fantastic. I go get this test done, and I've got elevated DHEA and elevated cortisol. That should be like, you're in the stage 1 alarm. Now, what is stage 2?
So when you go into like this deep alarm phase is when your cortisol stays high, right? So here we go.
So before it was this way.
Right. So and now cortisol staying high, but DHEA is now starting to dysregulate and go lower. Now you're going to start to feel something. Now you're going to notice some of those symptoms that we were talking about before come to life, whether it's some of the, whether you start to become sick, whether you notice that you can't remember things, whether you notice that you are getting lightheaded or you're having issues with digestion, right? Those things. So,
but hold on, one little cautionary state. It's a DHEA normal, not low. So again, alarm stage 1, both of them are high.
Elevated.
Alarm stage 2, DHEA is actually normal, but the cortisol is still high. Now you have stage 3, which is...
Stage 3, here's your body trying to self-correct, right? So we've got high cortisol, normal DHEA, but in stage 3, as your body tries to self-correct, both become
of them
low.
go down.
Because your body knows, okay, we know that something's wrong. How can we fix this? Well, it was wrong because both of them were high at first, and then DHEA became normalized. Let's drop both of them.
And what are the symptoms here? Like most people now have something diagnostic, right?
So now we can do the blood test and we can see the changes in sugar. Blood sugar is going to be elevated. Cholesterol is probably going to be elevated. Your blood pressure is going to start to elevate because your body is starting to really go into that that fight or flight mode as it's really struggling to figure out what do we do to regulate ourselves.
And then here comes phase 4.
Yeah, so that
we
is
got
just
60 seconds. Super easy to describe.
Pure exhaustion. That's just super low cortisol and DHEA. So it's just going lower and lower and lower because you're so fatigued, you're so burned out. This is the burnout stage where you can't even really produce the hormones anymore. And
but this is where people get misdiagnosed, right?
Major metabolic issues. So you may be told you've got diabetes, heart disease. You may be told, you've got some thyroid disease or something else, major anxiety, other psychological problems. And that's not true at all, guys. It's coming from your adrenal glands.
So everything we just described to you, you might be like, whoa, I didn't get it. One's high, one's low. How do I get the list? Download the ebook.
Yeah.
A self-diagnostic guide is inside of there. 704-906-2094. Call the call center if you want. Name an email. Send a text. Name an email. The ebook is free. The webinar is on the 13th. It's also free. We're going to take you step by step through the solutions, the tests. You guys will hear from patients who have said, oh, no, like I couldn't even open my eyes. I was that tired. Now I'm running a New York Marathon. You're going to hear it all. Hey, it's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What if we told you coffee was good for you?
Coffee is the single highest source of antioxidants in the Western diet. More antioxidants than kale, more antioxidants than 70% dark chocolate, and more antioxidants than blueberries.
In fact, what if we told you that coffee is really good for you?
Research shows that 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day dramatically enhances performance in high-intensity exercise, improves memory, reaction times, and overall cognitive function, decreases risk of depression, promotes weight loss by boosting metabolic rates, reduces risk of type 2 diabetes up to 40%, decreases risk of liver cancer up to 71%, reduces risk of Parkinson's up to 30%, and decreases risk of Alzheimer's up to 65%. Overall, coffee drinkers live longer. People who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day have about a 15% lower risk of premature mortality compared to people who don't drink coffee.
And what if we told you that the health benefits of coffee could actually be increased through conscious roasting, sourcing, and processing? Introducing Purity, a health-conscious coffee company. At Purity, we've brought together a world-class team to analyze every step in the production chain from cherry to cup. We make decisions with only one thing in mind: how can we make the healthiest coffee in the world? Here's our 3-step process. Step 1, we search the world for the highest quality organic green beans that meet our exacting standards. Way less than 1% of coffee worldwide fit our sourcing criteria. Step 2, we test, and test again to create a specific roasting protocol for each harvest that maximizes healthy compounds and minimizes toxins. Step 3, we nitrogen pack our coffee within 48 hours of roasting and deliver to your door every 2 weeks to ensure maximum freshness. The result is the ultimate coffee drinking experience. You'll not only taste the difference in our clean, healthy coffee, with Purity, you'll feel the difference.
Our coffee club members report a bright, alert lift with less jitters than regular coffee and much more gentle on the stomach.
Sign up for Purity today, and you'll never have to worry about your source for healthy coffee again.
Hi, my name is Gary Greenfield with Greenfield Water Solutions, and I want to introduce you to our newest product, the MR500. It's a whole house structured water filter system. It's set up in an all stainless steel multi-round filter housing. It features inlet and outlet for the water, a bleeder valve for when you're changing out the filters to reduce pressure, and to remove the top for access to the filters, we simply open up the clamp, remove the top, and this plate here holds all the filters in place. Simple to remove. It comes out, and you can see what we have on the inside here. It's 5 Aquamedics filters and a vortexing tube and a harmonizer. That's the whole system. This is designed to filter 5 gallons per minute, and all of the contaminants that it does remove are listed on the website, which is very broad array of contaminants. These are the highest rated filters that I know of on the market that are filter cartridges. They can be changed out yearly. And of course, the process is very simple. You won't have to hire a plumber to do a change out. And the filters are available from Greenfield Water Solutions. And if you want to know more about this, you can read about it on the product page or give us a call. Thanks for watching. That's it for now from Greenfield Water Solutions.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celient Sleep Recovery. Our Celient Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celient technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celient infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celient. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celient has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celient Sleep Recovery products today. Celient. Recycle your body's energy.
To bring you the best natural wine the world has to offer, we've designed a fully curated membership program. Every selection you receive is different and unique. Every wine is picked by our wine team, lab tested for purity, and curated into a special box for your enjoyment. So how does the membership work? We offer 2 main options, a half case of 6 bottles or a full case of 12. You can request all reds, all whites, or a perfect split of both. Then you can set the frequency, monthly or every other month. We offer a similar simple membership for rosé and sparkling wines. After you choose these basic options, we'll do the rest. With every box we send you, we aim to present the greatest diversity of flavors, textures, and profiles. There's a healthy mix of the classics, but also rare varietals. We do this because natural wines taste different from their commercial counterparts. We want to share the best possible experience with you, so you can discover new wines you love. And you can always reorder a wine that took your heart, or ask us to avoid certain profiles. The best part is, you don't need any wine knowledge to fully enjoy these boxes. We curate our selections to be enjoyed without worry. Ultimately, this is Dry Farm Wines. We are so grateful to be able to share the power of natural wines with you.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, along with co-host, Dr. Chris Demczar.
Thank you, Dr. Ernst. Love it.
And we're continuing a conversation about our energy series, Endless Energy. And we're on today's topic, the adrenal fatigue that actually a lot of you have, but you've never connected the dots with this.
Right, that's the invisible
because
condition,
it's the invisible disease, the invisible condition. We've been giving away an incredible ebook. It's called Energy Heal Thyself, completely free, 100%. 704-906-2094 is the number to call in and chat with our call center, or text in your name and email. And the ebook is free. And we're also sending you a free access to a energy webinar we're hosting on the 13th of August. Yep. It's at 10 a.m. It's in the comfort of your home. You don't have to go anywhere. You just have to register, where we're going to solve all of these issues.
That's right.
Neurological energy dysfunction, mitochondrial energy dysfunction, adrenal energy dysfunction,
hormonal,
and the last one that we haven't talked about yet, the toxicological energy dysfunction.
Absolutely.
And we spent a lot of time discussing the 4 phases or the 4 stages of adrenal fatigue. So we have that wired and tired, the tired and wired, the just plain tired, and we have the what we call that wired for sound, that supernova diva who's about to explode.
Crash.
And
Big time.
we took a very short segment to help you determine if you get the right testing for your hormones, you can find out in a split second how much adrenal fatigue you have. I want to go through these real quick.
Let's do it.
We got a bunch of people texting in. Whoa, I didn't get is it elevated cortisol? Is it low DHEA? Guys, just, everything's in the ebook, 704-906-2094.
Yep.
And we'll go for it right now for you.
And so just remember, we were chatting about the fact that it's not just a simple blood test that you can just do just to figure out, okay, am I in one of these stages? We're not going to be able to tell from just a singular blood test, or even, some of you may have done certain urine testing before, but that's not going to be good enough, right? We talked about how it's really important to know that these hormones, they change throughout the day. They change throughout, day and night, right?
So what would be the problem with the blood test then? If I go at 9 in the morning, my cortisol might be
super, super high.
And my DHEA might be low.
Low or normal or
and
whatever.
According to that, I would have like a stage 2 adrenal fatigue.
Exactly.
But at 7 in the evening, my cortisol might be high and my DHEA might be high. So I'm now in stage 1. So you got to look at a 24-hour spread.
Exactly. And see how it's more of the relative change as they're changing throughout the day, right? We know what normal should be. We know what abnormal outside of a specific range may be at every single time point. You need to test those different time points.
Yes.
So Dr. Ernst mentioned it's something called a Dutch test. It's where you basically stick this, you have like this dipstick that you put in urine that's going to help to determine the certain levels once you send it off to the lab. But what's really, really important is to know that you have to get these specific time points to be able to know what your DHEA and cortisol levels are at different points during the day.
That's right.
From way early in the morning to during the day and way late at night. And that way we have this whole map. We should have a 24-hour map that you can look and see exactly what's going on with your cortisol and DHEA
So now that I've done this test, and by the way, this isn't very expensive. It's like $300-400. Now you might be like, $300? Like, I mean, that's what? Two payments on my car, or 1 payment on my car.
I'll say, okay? 1.
Depends on what kind of car you have. Some people, it's barely a third of their car.
That's right.
Anyway, 1 car payment per month, and I'm going to figure out well, listen, okay, I don't know if you know this or not. You spend a couple $100 on the test, it finds the underlying root cause. That's worth hundreds of thousands of hours of misery, pain, suffering. I mean, we have some patients who be like, I'll give you whatever you want if you can just help me to figure out why I'm so tired all the time. Okay, it's not that you don't need to give us everything that we need.
No.
Go get the test done. Let's find out what stage you're in, and then let's apply what we're going to teach you in this segment.
Okay, so stage 1, here we go. Cortisol is high and DHEA is high. It's the first step of really noticing that the adrenal fatigue has set in, because we know that they're overproducing. You've got that super high sympathetic response, even though you know that your body's trying to calm down, but it can't because it's overproducing these hormones.
But what's the issue? Can they feel this?
That's the question. Do you know that this is even going on? No. There's no symptoms associated with this. So even though you've got these elevated hormone levels, you're not even going to know it.
And these are the people that are like, no, man, I'm good. I've got a ton of energy. I sleep well. There's nothing wrong with me.
Be
prove
careful.
it to us.
That's right.
Go get the Dutch test. If you've got high cortisol and high DHEA, you're in the early stages of burnout.
Exactly.
So then now stage 2.
Yeah, so stage 2, cortisol has stayed elevated, but DHEA has come down to normal. So we've got this normal DHEA level, but why hasn't cortisol come down too? That's the main issue. So we've got this elevated cortisol, body's trying to start to self-correct, normalize DHEA, but that would be stage 2. Now, if you're in this stage, you're noticing it. You're starting to have some symptoms.
And that's what we talked about before, right? Like brain fog, forgetfulness, dry skin, hair thinning out. You're getting sick more
Random
frequently.
symptoms of sickness.
You got that pain in your neck and upper back, and you're blaming your massage therapist. Well, I guess they didn't do a good massage.
Yeah, or the way you slept the night before.
Or you'll say, well, I guess my chiropractor didn't get my back in alignment. No.
Absolutely not.
You're in that deep alarm state. Now, what happens if this is untreated, undiagnosed, and nobody corrects it? We go into phase 3, which is now an actual layer of, like, it's an adrenal problem now.
Right. So now you're in the resistance phase. Now your body's really trying to fight against the dysfunction. But in doing so, what it does is it takes both your cortisol levels, which are high, and your DHEA levels, which are normal, and it drops them low.
Yeah.
So now we've got low levels of both of these hormones because your body's going, whoa, this is too much. But we can't get out now, so we'll fight against it. And you're just building and accumulating more dysfunction on top of the dysfunction that was already present.
And here's something unique. Cortisol, when it's low, man, your immune system tanks. Watch this. It elevates insulin.
Yes.
Which means your blood sugars go high. I know it's weird because insulin makes your sugars go down, but high insulin causes burnout. Type 2 diabetes is high insulin resistance.
Yes.
It causes cholesterol to go up, sugars to go up, pressure to go up, everything to go up, except for the fact that like your energy didn't go up.
Wait. So Dr. Ernst, did you just say that the root cause of what could be causing somebody to be a type 2 diabetic could relate to what's going on with their adrenal system
fatigue.
And adrenal
fatigue. Listen, like we're about to go into this. Many diagnostic conditions, heart disease, diabetes, MS, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, they're actually just expressions of this inability to have proper energy in your body. Because watch this, okay? If my adrenals are perfect and my spine is aligned and I've got good brain energy and I'm eating well, I'm getting my nutrients and my liver's clean, how much energy am I going to have?
Oh my gosh. It's going to seem like boundless.
And how much disease would I have?
None.
So how many medications do I have to take to stay functional?
0.
So if you're looking to get off a medication for a condition you've been diagnosed with, maybe you got diagnosed with the wrong condition.
Right.
I pretty much can guarantee you're in some stage of adrenal fatigue. But some of you are like, I didn't even know there was adrenal fatigue. I mean, I'm getting a lot of people texting and asking for the ebook, which is great. But look at this one. I don't know. So no name, but what does it say? I didn't even know what my adrenals were. Where are the adrenals? Like, what is an adrenal? So let's answer this. Okay.
We missed that, I guess.
Your adrenal gland is about the size of like a walnut.
Yeah, it's like a large walnut.
Little tiny thing. And it sits right on top of your kidney. Like literally,
hat.
Here's your kidney, and it's the hat. Now, that thing secretes all these different hormones that regulate your energy. It regulates your cycles if you're a female. It regulates adrenaline. Like, think about this. This is where we get the word adrenaline from. It's an adrenal hormone. Adrenaline is energy. Like, if I gave you an injection of adrenaline,
that's right.
So think about this. If your adrenal glands are deficient, you don't naturally secrete low levels of adrenaline, which gives you energy.
Right. It's basically, think of the adrenal gland as this is the hormonal aspect of your body's ability to regulate whether it stays in that fight or flight response or that rest and digest response.
And here's the problem today, guys. The reason that so many adrenal glands are like burnt crisp, they're no longer walnuts, they look like dried raisins, is because what are we in all the time?
Yeah. We're in
chronic fight or flight.
Yes.
And when you get to this stage 4, this is the people who are like, man, I've done everything. Like, I worked out. I'm on sleeping pills. I'm taking, blood pressure, cholesterol. Like, I'm so tired and nothing works. And Monster's no longer working. Rockstar's no longer working. What's the other one? Red Bull's not working. I'm doing 16 cups of coffee a day just to keep my eyelids open. I had one patient say if they made like toothpicks for my eyes, that'd be the only way I could stay awake.
Hold your eyes open.
That's somebody who's professing stage 4, adrenal fatigue, exhaustion, failure, where DHEA is low and cortisol is low.
Yeah, lower than stage 3, guys. So we stay low at stage 3, go even
It's
lower for stage 4. And this is what's crazy is that when you're in this stage, these are the patients, these are the people that are getting diagnosed with the heart conditions, the thyroid conditions, the diabetes. They're the ones that are having not just the elevated blood sugar or the elevated cholesterol. They're having the actual condition being diagnosed medically, right? So what does that tell you, right? We see patients all the time. They're coming in, and I'm going to be honest, guys, it's people that are in the ages of like your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s even, that are coming in saying, oh, I've just exhausted all options, and nothing has ever worked. Even if I had a little bit of temporary relief, it was temporary, it was short-lived, and then the same issues just came back again. It's because, guys, were you ever tested to figure out what stage of adrenal fatigue you were in?
No, and guess what? I've exhausted all options, Dr. Ernst or Dr. Demczar. Wait a second. They should finish the statement. I've exhausted all medical options, all over-the-counter options. Now, how do I fix this functionally? I'm going to the last resort doctor, like, please, for the love of God, can you help me? Okay, so first of all, we have this philosophy where it's like, you should have done this first. Okay, like I think alternative medicine should be mainstream medicine.
That's right.
And taking a prescription should be, oh my gosh, like mainstream didn't work for you? Weird. Here, take this alternative drug.
Yes.
Like that's just my mentality behind it. We'll get there in like maybe year 3000 when we wake up and realize how stupid we are as medical providers. Anyway, now watch this, okay? I want to get fixed. I finally go to the functional doctor. Now, we're the weird ones, right? We're like, hey, so on your intake form, tell us the following. Like, how often do you go to the bathroom? Do you have the bloating, gas? Do you take medications? What's your energy like? We'll ask that. But we'll say stuff like, have you ever been tested for vitamins and minerals and nutrients? We'll ask you to do these challenges. Hey, can you take this monitor home and go see what your blood sugars look like? We'll sometimes do tests. We'll look for things like food sensitivities. We're going to look for infections. And you know what most of our patients are like? Why are you doing all this when I have fatigue? Like, I thought you were going to like hold some crystal in front of my face, give me some supplement, and I'd walk out like, guys, we're looking for cause, okay? So what are the main root causes of energy fatigue, adrenal fatigue? Well, number one, it's the inability for your body to heal by itself. 80% of your immunity is found in your intestines, so we have to check your gut health, the lining, the integrity, the strength, the bacteria, the viruses.
Exactly. And so let's break that down really quick. Dr. Ernst just said it's the inability of your body to be able to heal by itself. Do you guys believe that your body's designed to be healthy? That's got to be step one. How many of you are going, I'm just waiting for the complete breakdown? What?
You know what?
The breakdown, your body should never be breaking down. It should always be looking to heal.
I just had an epiphany.
Here we go.
Okay, ready for this? If you don't think your body can heal by itself, then that's why you're taking the medications you're taking.
That's right.
That's why you're seeking the medical care you're seeking, because someone who believes their body heals by themselves would seek the functional people first.
Exactly.
Number two, watch this. If you don't think your body can heal by itself, it means you think that your condition is normal and that there's nothing wrong with you. Well, I'm 55. It's normal to be tired when you wake up. Nope. It's normal for your hip to hurt in the morning. Nope. It's normal to have toenail fungus. Nope. No. Okay, so like some of this could be a philosophical show based upon how you think, but some of it could be, do you know that these things are involved in your health? Your gut is involved in your health. We know thyroid imbalances can cause fatigue, but watch this. Why is your thyroid falling apart? Neurological, toxicological, microbiome, they're all connected to these functions.
So here's the point, right? Once you figure out, right, listeners, you guys realize that you are designed to be healthy and you accept that to be the truth. Once you figure that out, then you can say, well, what's really going on? Okay, I'm not as healthy as I could be. I need to know why. That's when you're going to say, hey, I'm ready to take the action and start to do these things to figure out exactly what you need to do.
And you know what a great action step is to start with? First of all, it's not going to cost you anything except, 15 seconds to send a text. 704-906-2094 is the number. Get this free ebook, guys. How long does it take for you to read 20 pages of an ebook? Half an hour? Maybe. But watch this. That half hour is going to open your mind to possibility for endless energy. It's going to help you to see, gosh, you know what? Maybe I should go get this test run. I've never had this Dutch test. I've never had a nerve scan. I've never had a leaky gut profile. Heaven forbid, toxicological assessments, glyphosate, heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides. Now watch this. Have you ever literally been tested for things like biofilms? Epstein-Barr virus, mold, Lyme. Guys, I'm telling you, chronic biofilms are a major issue behind chronic fatigue. Why? If your body's spending 80% of its energy trying to heal you 24/7, you run out.
That's right.
Okay? So here's the thing, and let's do a little Q&A. Let's do some trivia. Did you know that 20% of your whole entire body's energy is dedicated to your nerve system? I don't know about you, but that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Almost a quarter of all the energy you make is for your nerve system. Why? Let's ask. Why do you think that this body, in its infinite wisdom, says, I'm going to allocate 25% of energy every day to the nerve system, and then the rest of it's to things like digestive, cardiovascular? They don't get that much. Cardiovascular, by the way, is like 10%. Why is the brain and the nerve system getting 20% of your whole body energy?
Well, I've got two questions. So first of all, do you know what the first part of your body, when you're being made in the womb, what's the first things to develop are?
I do. So, but yeah, I'll play devil's advocate. So I'm a patient. Most important organ, heart. Okay, your heart has to form first, right? Because otherwise, how does all the fluids
That's what everybody
get around?
says. Oh, it's got to be the heart so that the blood can get pumped, so that the baby can grow. No, it's your nerve system, right? The first 14 days especially are so critical for your nervous system to develop and for the start of the spinal cord, right? For your spine to start to develop and enclose, and then everything branches off.
What I'm hearing you say, branches, get it? What I'm hearing you say is the roots of your body, and they call them nerve roots for a reason, are your spinal system. Now, we're not talking about the bones, guys. We're talking about the tissue inside. Brain stems, spinal cord, spinal nerve roots. Get it? Now watch. The trunk is the spinal vertebra, like the bones, okay? And then the organs are your leaves and your fruit and things like this. So if you were to go in and like neurologically toxify someone, aluminum, lead, mercury, uranium, arsenic, you damage the root system. Okay, you damage the trunk. Now, guess what? Every single fruit's going to die and fall off. Now, if your heart's falling off, if your lungs are falling off, if your liver's falling off, that's major chronic disease. But now think about this. Hippocrates said, if you want to find the cause of all disease, look to your spine.
Look well to the spine for the cause of disease.
The spine.
So going back to Dr. Ernst's original question, why would we give almost a quarter of our energy just to the nervous system alone? Well, that's because it's the first system that's going to help make everything else happen. Not to mention that, you guys realize how much energy your brain needs for the millions and billions and trillions of signals that need to happen, and the millions and billions of neurotransmitters that need to be sent from nerve to nerve, neuron to neuron to make certain connections happen. But that all requires energy. It's not just free. It's not free, but it's funny. It's when everybody thinks, well, what's taking the most energy? Oh, it's my digestive system. It's my heart. No one ever thinks about, well, how does that stuff even know what to do? It's got to come from the nervous system, right? So that's why I need so much energy.
And then here's the next one that takes a ton of energy. Digestive system. And here's why, okay? If I eat a carrot and I chew it up into a good amount of like a carrot paste, right? I'm not going to swallow this thing whole. I'm going to chew this carrot until there's nothing left to chew. All those mushed carrot pieces go to my stomach. And here's the thing, guys. Your stomach is going to go, oh, carrot. Look at all the proteins and look at all the enzymes. Look at all the carbohydrates. Look at all the fiber. And it's going to just rip it apart and send it to where it needs to go. Okay, simple and easy to do because it's a naturally occurring food product. Now watch this. Somebody eats carrot cake. Okay, it has some carrots in it, but it also has wheat and corn and rice and soy and oats and flour and sugar and baking soda and baking powder and eggs. And okay, here comes this carrot cake. Now watch this. It requires tremendous amounts of energy for your body to break that carrot cake apart because there's so many more ingredients. So sometimes people are like, I don't know, man, like ever since I ate lunch, like I am just dragging. Well, if you ate like a vegetable juice and a raw salad, you're not gonna be dragging. But when you eat like, you know, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, KFC, bread bowls from Panera, and, you know, soups and all this stuff that's man-made, okay, a tremendous amount of energy, guys. Tremendous amount of energy is required. So if you wanna really boost your energy well, you need to clean out your diet, and you need to make sure your brain is clean. Now, this is where it gets tough, because a lot of people are like, I thought chiropractic was just for neck pain, back pain, and headaches. So I don't have any neck pain, I don't have any back pain, I don't have any headaches, but I'm tired all the time. Okay, remember we said that's stage 1 adrenal failure. Why would I go to a chiropractor if that's what neck pain, back pain, headaches? See, you guys, you've been lied to. Okay, real essence chiropractic is what's called subluxation based. It's the alignment neurological dysfunction. We got 3 minutes. Can you explain to them, why would you go to a chiropractor if you're tired, as opposed to going to your medical doctor and leaving with a prescription?
Yeah, exactly. Because all the stresses in your life have accumulated to lead to this neurological interference or that subluxation. But let's keep this really simple, guys. You've heard about the fight or flight response. You've heard about the rest and digest response. Your spine, the nerves coming out of the spinal cord at different levels are associated with those 2 different responses.
Absolutely.
So if we can go in and find, oh my gosh, you're stuck in the sympathetic state, which is contributing to this chronic fatigue syndrome that you're having, this adrenal overload, then we can go in and figure out, well, not even which specific spinal nerves, but which sections of your neurology are going to be holding on to that sympathetic state.
And guess where it usually is? Here. Right? T1,
exactly.
T2, T3, C7.
Sometimes down into the upper, mid, low back area. And so we can then remove the subluxation in those areas to get you out of that sympathetic overdrive. And then that's what's going to allow you to start to heal and start to get your energy back naturally.
Because you've normalized what we as chiropractors and functional physicians call tone. Okay, think of it like a guitar string. If I take a guitar string and I really tightly, okay, it's really high tension.
That was really good.
Really high tension, okay? That high tension is actually an abnormal frequency. It's very high, fast frequencies. So it's hot, it's irritated, and it doesn't transmit signals very well, okay? Your spine needs this specific tone. And you know what's crazy? They actually have frequency hertz that they've measured of what a spinal tone is. It's a lot lower than you think. So what an adjustment does is it takes that really highly wound individual who's like, I'm stressed out, I'm tired, I'm fatigued, and I just can't. And he goes like this. brings a tone back.
Yeah.
And most people leave going like, oh my God, like, I don't know why, but I feel good.
Right.
I feel rested, but I'm energized. I feel no pain, but I'm healthy. Like, come on, right?
Because it's been a reset of their tone. I love how you put that.
So if you want to learn how to reset your tone, if you want to learn how to get off of medication for sleeping, for pain, for fatigue, for anything, step number 1, guys, download the ebook, okay? Energy Heal Thyself. It's absolutely free, 704-906-2094. Text or email, not an email, sorry, text your name and your email, or call 704-906-2094.
Yep.
We have exactly 24 seconds before they're going to kick us off the air. So anything you'd like to say?
Well, I just want to say, guys, that in a couple short weekends away, we've got our next webinar that both Dr. Ernst and myself are going to be on.
That's right.
So what a better way to spend your Saturday morning than hanging out with us, learning how you can heal and you can get all the energy back that you've been lacking for who knows how many 10, 15, 20 plus years, right?
That's right.
So definitely join us. It'll be Saturday, 10 a.m., August 13th. Can't wait to see you there.
And again, 704-906-2094. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a great one.